My name is Eddie McGrath. I'm 43 years of age. I'm married to my wife Joanne. We have 3 beautiful children, Dylan, Ellie and Darcy, and we live here in the wonderful region of Belturbet in Cavan. I've been making baskets now probably somewhere between 8 and 9 years. It's something I discovered out of chance really, and just kind of took into it, and the more I'd done it, the more I kind of wanted to do it really. I find it's very absorbing. Like there's traditional baskets, there's baskets that you make yourself. That's what I'd say basket making itself is a very individual thing. You learn the basic techniques, but you'll discover then your own way of and style of making and things that you want to make. Yeah, in that sense it's been very fulfilling for me since I discovered it really, you know. I trained as a butcher for most of my life, among other jobs as well, but butchering was really the main job I done for a long time. And I said about 8, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, I was looking for a change in direction. I didn't know what to do really, and I had a young family at the time, and we had to kind of think about how we're going to support them. So a neighbour across the fields there, they cleared about 6 acres of land and they planted willow for biomass fuel. So I was watching them do that, and the willow grew quite quickly, and then the machines came in and they cut it down and it seemed to grow back again. So that initially procured my interest in growing a material. So I just started researching it, and somewhere along the lines, I can't remember where, baskets popped up, and I was just kind of drawn to them a little bit, the different styles and shapes and colours of the willow. So I started looking into baskets. I got in touch with a gentleman by the name of Joe Hogan. He's based down in Connemara. He runs basket making classes. He's been making baskets in Ireland since the early 70s. Lovely gentleman he is. So I travelled down to Joe, done some courses with him, and as I said, it's the first time I picked up a few rods, I just felt, you know, this is what I want. You know, I liked it. Although it was quite hard at the start, and still can be by times, you're constantly learning, you know. I knew then that you'd go to a class and you'd learn something, but I didn't have the materials to practice what I'd been taught. I wanted to plant some willow, so I did. So I got some cuttings, we planted them, they grew quite well actually. And then I had the materials then that I could work with. So from there on in, it was really a constant thing of practice. You know, learn to make one basket and keep making it until you get to the stage where the frustration goes. You know, when you're learning something new and it can be a bit difficult, but if you just keep pushing and keep pushing, it becomes more fluent and more easier to do. And I suppose a big part of it is learning about the material itself. You know, how to get it in the right condition, how to grow it, how to look after it in a way, and that's a big draw for me, is that I can actually produce my own material to make the products from, and that the willow itself is, you know, we cut it in the winter months there in January and February when the plant is dormant, and then that encourages new growth then for the next year. So that's a big plus for me, because I feel like I'm not taking anything away from the environment. And the fact you can create something from, you know, basically a loose bunch of sticks, that you can make a piece that, say, this kind of large basket here that someone can use to, you know, carry stuff around if they're going for a picnic with their family or something, things like that you can make that from a natural material, you know. And really, the only tools required to make a basket like that, they're quite basic, really. You have a wee bodkin here. You'd use that for splitting the sticks, so we'll show you that in a wee while. And a wrapping iron, just to tap down the weave every now and again to keep it nice and tight. And just a wee clippers then to clip off the end of the rods when you're finished weaving. And basically that's all you need to make, you know, the majority of basket make. That's really all there is. It's just them and your hands and your mind, and you just kind of go at it and kind of get things done, you know. And I find the making process itself, it's absorbing for me anyway. You kind of, you know, the few hours pass and you say, well, oh, that's what I've been doing for the past few hours. So and then you have something that's you know, strong and functional at the end of it, and gives you a good sense of pride actually to know, well, you know, I've done my best at that. And when someone purchases a basket like that, I know that they're going to have something that's going to last them a long time. You know, quality is a big factor for me. You know, it's important that the customers receive a quality product, you know, and that's made from local materials. There's some different styles and shapes of basket. You have like your round basket, you have an oval shaped basket, you have square, you know, there's all different kind of styles and shapes. And just to give you a little insight into it, if I was making this small little round little vegetable basket here, how you would start it is you would make the base first, the inside base. So it would be something like that there. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 initial base sticks, and you do a pairing weave then to get it started. So it should start to look like that. So to do that, as I said, you'd start off with your 6 base sticks, and you'll start off then by using your bobbin. This is your bobbin, your basket maker's tool. So we're actually going to split these sticks. So we'll just push the bobbin through like that. So you can see there I've actually split the stick, I've pushed the bobbin through it. And we'll also do that with the other 2 as well. You can do an underfoot base as well if they're making a bigger basket where you don't actually split them. But in small baskets like this, a split stick base is absolutely fine. Let me just run the other 3 in as well, just to make an initial cross to start off with. Like so. So you just have basic cross. Then we'll just take our first 2 weavers. These ones roughly about 4 foot long, thereabouts, and we take them by the tip end and we just insert them in through that gap. Kind of push them through a little bit. And then we just start pairing with our 2 rods. So one comes to the front, one goes to the back and turn. And just repeat that process. To the front, to the back and turn. The 2 tips there, just pull them over out of the way and weave around them. You find in basket making, as you're making, your thumbs, they do a lot of work. Both your thumbs do a lot of work. Sometimes you may have to use your chin as well, you know, whatever body part is there, really. And everyone has their own way or position they like to work in. I find I like to work on this chair at this little table. Other people would have a plank, they refer to it as a plank on a slope in front of them. So whatever position you find comfortable, really. So now we have our cross and the slot is tied. So now we have to start opening these out to try and form these into a circle, to start spreading out our base sticks. So again, we just bend it down like that, and now we start pairing with these 2 rods. So one goes in, and the other goes out. And again, bend the base stick down to create that space, and bring the weaver into that position. So out and back in. And I like to twist the wrist, it just encourages the rod to flow inward. All the way down, create the space, and back in, out, all the way down. And again, this finger here is just going to help keep that rod down, because if I don't put that finger there, it tends to go up a little bit. So that'll keep that there. All the way down and back in. You know, for people starting out in basket making, probably, you know, making the base, whether it be square, oval or round, is probably one of the most difficult things. But again, it's just practice, really. And after a while, then your hands kind of, the fingers start to remember what to do, and you kind of just walk away. These rods were cut last January, and then they were left to season for about 5 months until they were fully dry. And then in order to make a basket from then, I had to re-soak them. So I had to soak them for about 6 days to make them pliable enough to work with. Again, it's about having that connection with your material. You know, there's lots of willow out there, there's lots of different types of willow, that have different characteristics, and it depends on the field they're grown in, the soil type and everything. So again, it's about just building your connection and understanding your materials and getting them to do what you want them to do, you know, instead of the other way around. So you can see I'm just bringing the rod out and back in. I find myself very fortunate here to live in this beautiful region. Here it's very tranquil, and it's a lovely place to rear your family. So that's how you would start a base for a round basket. Your 6 base sticks, your 2 weavers, start your pairing and slowly start to spread out these base sticks. And really, from when I first pick up when I start to make a basket like that, that's what I really enjoy, is that you're focused in, you're constant from the minute you start. You know, you're bending, you're shaping, you're checking until the very, very end, until I put the finished product down and maybe clip the last little rod. It's that connection to the material and the product you're trying to make. That's really what I enjoy about it, that focus it gives me as a person. When I first started out, as I said, I had a young family to support. You know, there was financial pressure there, there still is, but I never focused on the money aspect of the making. I went to a course one time with a different maker, and they said to me, you know, there's no money in this. And I just let that totally and utterly go over my head. It's something I never focused on. I decided I wanted to learn something, and that's what I was going to do. I didn't think about the money or what am I going to get out of it. I was thinking about, you know, well, what am I going to learn? What am I going to become? And there has been some challenging times, and there still is. But I have to say my wife Joanne has been very, very supportive in that. She's been a great encouragement to me. And I also was very lucky too to travel to Somerset to work at basket making. So I had to leave my family and go over for 3 months at a time and learn the work, do the work, and then come back. And that was difficult, but I'd made that decision that that's what I wanted to become. So, you know, there was no plan B, you know what I mean? So I knew it was going to work. It's about commitment, you know, and if, you know, people will have different ideas and but if you believe in something, see it through, and you're going to have challenges and things will come up and things will get in your way and you might have bad times and that, but just keep pushing, keep believing in yourself. You can do it, you know, that's what I really would say. And get in touch with people that are maybe in a similar trade, whether it be basket making, pottery, painting, whatever it is, and you know, listen to their stories they have to tell you. If they've been down the road further than you, they'll offer you some good advice, you know. And I find that in the craft sector, most people are kind of open in that and they're willing to help out. So just believe in yourself, commit. I have a vision in my head of what I want this to become, that the business will continue to expand and will be able to bring more people into it and offer employment. I can see it, I can see this picture in my head, and you know, we're taking steps to get there. And you know, sometimes you might have to take a step backwards in order to go forward. Just recent planting season, I planted 2,000 willow cuttings in the ground, because you know, source material is a constant bone of contention. You know, it seems to never be enough. So over the next 3 years, we'll continue that. We'll continue to plant more and more and more. We'll invest then in machine cutting to harvest the willow. Every basket that's made is made by hand. It's never been mechanized. The cultivation of it though, and the sorting and grading, there has been some mechanization in that. So I think that's a key factor to help to take some of the manual labor out of it, you know. It's about, because it is quite a physical demanding job as such. But to anyone looking to do something, in whatever field they choose, just if you make your decision, stick with it and believe in yourself. That's one of the key things I would say, you know.